Hi, I'm Steve Shaver from MAX, the Mobile Air Conditioning Society. Well, you guessed it, it's that time of year again, and I think I have my first compressor job of the year. At least that's what I think it is. I got a car here that's not blowing out cold, so today we're going to do a little bit of testing to find out just exactly what's going on here. So join me today while we do some temperature testing and some electrical diagnosis to find out exactly what's going on with this car. So we'll get some things together and then we'll get started. So the first thing I want to do is to verify the customer's complaint. Now, this vehicle owner brought the car to me and said, my air's not blowing out cold. Now, of course, it's not that I don't trust them, it's just that I want to verify it so that I know myself that what they're telling me is actually what I'm finding. So the first thing we're going to do is just go over the dashboard controls and verify that it's really not blowing out cold. So we'll start by turning the car on. And now I'm just going to go through all the controls and see what's going on with it. So I'll check the blend door. And I'll turn it from hot to cold. Well, that seems like that's working all right. Next, I'll check the panel controls. I'll go from defog to floor to blend and now to panel. That looks like it's working all right. So now let's check the fan. I'll go from 1, 2, 3, and 4. Well, all the fan speeds seem like they're working too. So now let me turn the air conditioner on and see if I can hear that clutch engage. Well, sure enough, that clutch is not turning on. So while that's an indication, it's definitely not something where I want to go ahead and condemn the compressor, at least not yet. There could be something else that's causing the clutch not to engage. So before we go any further, we'll go out under the hood and we'll check some electrical items and see what we can find. Well, it looks like the next step is going to be to check for power down at the coil itself. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm just going to go right down and disconnect the clutch cable right off of the compressor, because it's easy enough just to reach down there and do it. Now, sometimes you might want to do this back in the fuse center or at a relay or something, but since it's easy enough, I can just reach down here and disconnect the wire. Then we'll take our voltmeter and we'll check to see exactly how many volts are coming down to the clutch. Well, just like I thought, we have enough voltage going down to the clutch, but the clutch is still not engaging. So it might be that there's a problem with the coil inside the clutch. So what I'll do is I'll change my meter to read ohms, and now we'll check to see if there's continuity on the clutch side. Well, since there's an open in this coil, it looks like we're going to be replacing this compressor anyway. So let's start taking it apart. So you're probably wondering why I measured the amount of oil that came out of the old and the new compressor. And this is actually a very important step that you need to make sure you do when doing a compressor replacement on any vehicle. Now, this bottle here is about a 16-ounce bottle, and it looks like we only got about 1 ounce of oil out of the old compressor. But let's take a look at this bottle. Looks like we have about 4 ounces of new oil that came out of the new compressor. Now, sure, some guys would just leave this amount of oil in the new compressor and install it in the vehicle, and it may work okay. But actually, this would lead to an oil overcharge situation because this is all the oil that was in the old compressor. So any remaining amount of oil would be distributed throughout the air conditioning system. So anytime you're doing a compressor replacement, you want to make sure that you drain the oil out of both compressors, and then whatever comes out of the old compressor, you want to put that amount of new oil back into the new compressor. Now make sure that when you do that, you're getting new oil out of a clean, sealed container so that you don't accidentally contaminate your new system. Well, I'm sure I'm glad that that compressor is finally installed. And now that it is, it's time to connect the vehicle to our triple R machine. Because we've had the vehicle opened for such a period of time while the compressor was being replaced. So the system's been exposed to the atmosphere, and we need to remove any remaining air that's in the system before we go ahead and charge the vehicle. So I'm going to connect my high side hose to the high side fitting and the low side hose to the low side fitting. And then I'm going to open both the high and the low side valves. And then I'll come over to the machine to get it set up. So what I need to do is first hit the vacuum button, and it's going to do a little test. And now I can continue the vacuum mode using the enhanced procedure, and I'm going to let it run for 30 minutes. Then I'll hit continue. And now the machine is going to vacuum the system down for a period of 30 minutes so that we can make sure that we remove any remaining air that's in the system before we go ahead and recharge the vehicle. Well, now that the machine is done with vacuuming the system down and the vehicle has passed the vacuum decay test, that means it's okay for us to go ahead and charge the vehicle with refrigerant. Now, this is a 1999 Volkswagen Jetta, and it takes 750 grams. So I'll press the charge button to begin the process, and this screen is where I enter the amount of refrigerant. So I'm going to press 0075 because it's 750 grams or 0.75 kilograms. Yes to continue. PAG oil, yes. Charge through both the high and low side, yes. And now the machine will automatically charge the vehicle. Okay, now that this charge is complete, we can go ahead and disconnect the lines, run the vehicle, and see how well it works. Well, it looks like it's about 78 or 79 degrees outside today. And now that I have the vehicle parked outside, what I want to do is run it, and I want to measure the dash outlet temperature and then compare that to the ambient as a way to measure the vehicle's performance. It looks like our dash outlet temperature is just over 40 degrees. And considering that it's about 80 degrees outside today, that's more than a 30-degree drop in temperature, which is exactly what I'm looking for. If you like getting tech tips and other technical information about mobile AC and climate control and thermal management, then why not join Max? You can check us out on our website at maxw.org. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.